Okay, so, and let's see here. Okay. How do I make this smaller? Much better. Check, check, check. All right, we're almost ready to go here. Okay. Hear me? Okay. Okay, that's good. And then, awesome. That's good to hear. And then, in order to do my slides, I go to my slides and I just switch them out. Let me see here. Oh, wait, that's not good. Not good, not good, not good. Okay, so how do I navigate my slides so that, okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate my slides while seeing the chat box, because it looks like I have to go to my PowerPoint and just start moving it around like this. That's kind of that's what I got to do, it seems, as opposed to doing it with. I can't do it within the actual hop-in thing, can I? I think that's the main challenge. Okay. All right. Well, is there a way for me to see who's here, or people are joining us? Okay, good. I see that people are joining, which is good. I don't know who they are, but I can see them. If you're in, be sure to say hi. That's fine. Look at this. Okay. All right. Barry's here. Hello. All right. That's great. Great fun. Okay. I'm having fun. I'm having fun now. Carol's here. So hello. Okay. Welcome. People are here. I like this. This is kind of exciting. And maybe Rachel, if you could tell me if there's any way to manipulate my slides while in the hop-in thing, I'll do that. Otherwise, I think I have to go to the PowerPoint itself like this and just start doing it. But I can't see what I'm doing with the, and see if I maximize this, what happens. Is it, it's maxed? Let me try this again like that. It's still maxed. Looks pretty good to me. Okay. It's okay if not. I'll just go. I'll use the slides as it. And I mean, I can certainly. What I'm doing is I'm minimizing my window a little bit, like that. Hi, Alex. The main issue is that I want to be able to manipulate the slides within the hop-in viewer, but instead I have to kind of go to the slide itself and do it, and then do it. So it means I have to go back and forth. So what I'll do is I'll minimize the slides. So I've maxed the slides. I can kind of see a bit of the chat box too, and I'll just get going. And I think that I have enough information here that I can actually get going. All right, so I think we're good. And I got so much to cover and so much to tell you guys. So let me just get going and do my best. You guys ready? We good? Give me a heck yeah in the chat box, and then we'll get going. Ready? No spare. I want a heck yeah. No, let's go. Okay, yeah. Where's the heck yeah? Heck yeah! All right, there we go. Brilliant. Okay, so let me get going. And if you have comments or questions throughout it, just put them in the chat box. I'll be able to see them. I will stay on afterwards as long as you want. Well, it's at least I'm willing to say another half an hour if you want to like ask me tons of questions because I have little time and I want to make sure I get you all the information. So let's get right into this, guys. So this is all about how to build a thought leadership brand as an authority in your field. You're all in different fields. Let's start off by first sharing with me. Tell me what field you're in. What is your expertise? What's your business? What exactly are you selling? What's your product service? Tell me what that is. In the chat box, I kind of want to get to know you guys a little bit better as I go through this. And while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you about how you can use the knowledge today. You know, your personal brand and thought leadership and building authority comes across all forms. It could be your profile page, it could be your website, it could be your email signature, it could be how you message people, it could be a podcast you made, it could be a content or course you created. But this is really, building thought leadership in your as an authority in your field is really important. And remember, knowledge doesn't equal results. I'm going to give you a lot of information, but I want you to act. So ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid, and then go and do it? So part of my objective here is to get you to act and start putting content out there and building that brand like you should. The next 25 minutes, I obviously can't go in too deep, but I'm going to briefly talk about why personal branding matters, how COVID-19 affects that aspect, how to build thought leadership and authority, and then I'm going to dive slightly into the thought leadership part of online presence, talking about how to discover, deliver, and design your thought leadership brand, how to create content, how I can help you, and then Q&A afterwards or networking time, you can certainly talk to me. All right. My promise is to help give you the insight, strategy, and tactics to help you build a stronger thought leadership personal brand to build your authority in your business. And I see some people, sharing stuff within the so your manufacturing fashion mask. Cool. That's awesome. Anyone else want to share their businesses, what they're doing? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. So the reason I do this is because my wives are lost, stuck, or unfulfilled leaders everywhere when it comes to business. They get lost in their career, stuck in their business. They're unfulfilled with what they're trying to do to build that brand. So that's why I do the content that I do. And my path has been very diverse from engineering to brand marketing to performing arts. And ultimately, thought leadership and personal branding connection has been part of the core of that. Let's talk. And I can't talk about thought leadership without talking about personal branding. Branding is really, really important. And a brand is a product of 1,000 small gestures. And if there's one thing I want you to remember is that a personal brand is a promise to live underneath. It's the collection of the emotional experience that they have with a name, logo, or symbol, or you. So when you think of Tim Hortons, you think of donuts or Timbits or roll up the rim to win. So remember, a brand is a promise. And personal branding matters because people matter because you're trying to build relationships with your work. You want to create vision impact. You want recognition. It becomes a career business catalyst, and you become memorable. So remember, it's the powerful thought leadership enabler for you and your authority as an authority in your field. So the big question is, why is thought leadership building so important? How do I build it? How do I create content to amplify my digital presence and brand? And I want to briefly talk about COVID-19 because clearly it's affecting us, but we're seeing certain trends around COVID-19 that's going to affect your authority as well as your thought leadership brand. So one is we're all working from home more, which means that as you're working from home more, how do we actually, and other people are as well, how do we then leverage our brand to clear through all the clutter of what's going on? Because there's a lot of people out there putting stuff out there, and particularly in the virtual world. So virtual becomes quite important. Secondly, a lot of us are transitioning. We're pivoting our paradigm. If you're a business, you have to pivot your business. I'm pivoting a lot of my work from speaking and training to doing more online coaching and online consulting because that's where the pivoting is leading me to be in terms of what I'm doing. So we're all thinking about how we're trying to transition. And ultimately, there's some diminishing trust in the global world when it comes to what COVID how that's affected us. And so again, we start to do even more work to build trust. And personal branding and building authority as a thought leader builds more trust compared to other people. And finally, clearly our online presence matters more today because we're all working from home, and this is a chance for you to transition and enhance your brand and build greater trust. And the best way to do that is to build a strong thought leadership brand. Remember, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So this is where you join me here, and I can teach you how to get started and get going on this. It's so important. Let's talk about thought leadership, right? I mean, when you look at these people here, there are certain things they stand for. Oprah stands for personal development, Jesus, R&B, and hip hop, Seth Godin's marketing and tribes, Gary Vaynerchuk's about hustle and entrepreneurship. They all stand for certain things. And so when people look at you as a thought leader or authority in your field, what do you stand for? What kind of words do people remember about you? That's an important piece to keep in mind. What exactly is thought leadership? Well, excuse me, there are three main criteria steps to become a thought leader. Number one, every one of those people have learned to network authentically, build deep relationships, have tons of connections. So you have broad connections, right? So one of the things is you have broad connections, you also have deep connections. Both those things are very, very important, okay? The second thing is you need to create and generate awesome ideas and content. So Jay-Z's writing songs, Oprah's writing books, Gary Vaynerchuk's doing video content, Warren Buffett's writing finance reports. What are you doing to create ideas and content around your expertise and your authority? And number three, every one of them is mastering public speaking and communication skills. They're working on speaking better. They're working on storytelling better. They're working on communication, writing better. They're working on better blog posts, better content, better everything. But basically working on their communication skills, both written and oral. And anyone can develop all three. The more you develop all three, the more achievement and impact you have as an authority in your field. Excuse me. So why is thought leadership so important? Well, when you are seen as the expert with a solid reputation, you have a huge network, and you own the conversation, then opportunities come to you because you are memorable. You will then have the confidence to go after opportunities and ultimately connections. So customers, clients, colleagues will follow you, and they're going to seek you out for your business, your services, your consulting, whatever it is you have. They want to hear from you. They want you to speak at their event. This is why they'll bring you up. They'll reach out to you. Here's an example. Marie Forleo has done a really great job on the thought leadership around her expertise and helping people with at-home businesses. She has a lot of video content. She has her books, her business coach, her podcast. She does some great work. And ultimately, thought leadership is what you need to do to build authority. And authority, what that means is you have greater credibility, you have greater influence, you have greater reach. And that's, again, why, building a thought leadership brand is so important. And again, as I go through this, if you have questions, put them in the chat box, and I'm happy to answer them. And, I chose social media and digital as my path to build thought leadership. So back in the day, in 2011, I hardly had anything, 200 followers on Twitter, 100 Facebook fans, 100 YouTube views. And now I've built it up, 468,000 followers on Twitter, 55,000 followers on LinkedIn with over 6 million views. And I've built that up, and I've built a thought leadership brand around that. Has it helped me? Yeah, because I've got all this amazing cred and stuff that's been building my business, giving me lots of impressions. And, I've been able to, I was named one of the top 100 speakers alongside Richard Branson, Brandon Brown, and John Maxwell. I've done 5 TEDx talks. I write the Huffington Post. So it's done well for me. So when it comes to brand thought leadership, let's kind of get into the top 5 tips. And again, because we don't have much time, it's helpful for us to just, kind of get right into it. And you can ask me questions in the chat box, and I'll answer them after I'm done. So top 5 tips. Number 1, it's important for you to know your expertise. If you don't know what your expertise is, then how on earth can you actually build a thought leadership brand around who you are? So this is where building your brand and understanding your brand and how you're perceived by the marketplace and your target audience is so important. That's going to provide the focus and clarity you need to make that impact. Number 2, you need to start writing, publishing, and sharing. A lot of people have trouble just even starting. A lot of people I work with, I was working with an entrepreneur. She has a $2 million business, and she wanted to put content out there for her podcast. We had a great coaching call. She's like, okay, Bobby, I'm ready. Let's do this. I'm nervous, but I'm going to do it. And what happened? A week later, I said, follow up. So what's going on? Oh, I have to train some operation manager, and I'm going to put it on hold for now. That is a common thing that happens all the time. So many of these people who have businesses and want to become thought leaders and want to put their stuff out there, they're afraid to do this. And you just got to start. Progress, not perfection. Just put it out there, start engaging. You'll be amazed at the results you're going to get if you just have the courage to do so. Number 3, you have to build your social media profile. So now in the age of COVID and virtual, and we're expecting far more virtual now, everyone's going to be looking at your website and your LinkedIn profile. What do you got there? Is it any good? Is it a good story? Is it a good headline? Does it speak to me? Right? So when you go to my profile or someone else's profile, does it speak to you? You need to flesh out and build out your social media profiles and make sure they're amazing. If you need help with that, let me know. Ask a question. You also have to start speaking at online events and developing case studies. That's why I'm here. I'm here to speak to you and share my expertise and mostly online events now because of COVID, and start building stories around what you're doing so you can actually help many people with the case studies and stuff that you're doing. And then ultimately, if you want to build a thought leadership brand for yourself, you got to network. And of course, it's online now, but come to events like this one, to this conference, go to other events, do webinars. There's things you can do. Like I do a weekly webinar every Thursday. Get a network and create content, put it out there, and start having these conversations. And the reason you have conversations because conversations build awareness, conversations build authority, and conversations lead to transactions, right? And that's, again, if you're a business, that's where you want to get to, right? That makes sense? Okay. So the key takeaway is lay the groundwork, plant the seeds, position yourself to reap the benefits of being a thought leader in your field. Now, how can you leverage those opportunities and tools to build your authority in digital? Well, let's first talk about the 4 hottest thought leadership content trends. Where are the places where people are making the hottest impact with creating content around there and build authority. It's these four: Instagram, LinkedIn, podcast, and TikTok. Now, I don't think you have to do all of them. I certainly don't have a, I don't have a podcast. I don't go on TikTok because it's not my audience, but I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Instagram. And I'm spending my time on those two pieces for myself. And a lot of people say, what do I start with? Well, there's the big three now: four: Facebook for community building, LinkedIn for business development, Twitter for thought leadership, and now Instagram is really hot too. If you only have one, start with LinkedIn, I would say. All of you are business people, start with LinkedIn. It's really huge right now, and Instagram's also good too, but LinkedIn's the way to go. Now, the good news is the bad news. You have an opportunity to create digital authority, but a lot of you are already 5 to 10 years behind the rest. Now, social media is everywhere, and if the people you target are on Pinterest or are on TikTok or Twitter, then you have to be there too. But I'm going to say focus on invest on LinkedIn. Remember, your brand is everything. If you are too late to start, don't worry about it. You have to be different, greater first. If you can't be first, be different or be great. Now, I'm really big on personal branding because personal branding allows you to have more focus, clarity, direction, purpose with your brand. It gives you more alignment in terms of meaning, values, and passion fulfillment with your work and your career, your business. And ultimately, if you have more focus, you have more alignment, you create more impact, so more achievement, success stories, and legacy. And so, what I like to do with DYPB, we help people discover their brand, then design the brand they want, and then deliver it out there and build that authority for themselves. And we've created a model around that. What's interesting about this model is that most people are here. They're always designing and optimizing, strategizing what kind of thing I need to be doing. But what they forget about is they don't do the discovery work. They don't really dive deep into really understanding their values and how they're perceived and really understanding this. And that's an important investment that a lot of people should make. And it's a lot of work. It's like, it's like doing a resume or doing a LinkedIn profile. It takes time. It's a good 20, 30 hours of work to really hone in on that. So that when you design your target audience and how you serve them and how you build up your brand and create that amazing content and build that authority, it's going to be spectacular. You're going to 10x results. And then, of course, you deliver, and that's when you launch and you measure, recalibrate how your brand's working. But this model is really key for getting you to where you want to go as an authority in your field. So how do you build a thought leadership personal brand? Well, again, we talked about the 3 main criteria as steps, but it's really about the content. So I want to dive into the content. I could do a whole session on all these different types. Let's talk about the content. The data is tremendous, right? 80% of employees trust a company more when they communicate via social media. 80% of respondents said strong thought leadership pieces and increase their trust of an organization. Remember we talked about trust? Right. How do you develop content to escalate your thought leadership? Well, it all starts with your target. Who's your target? Where are they? What are they doing? Where do they live? Again, I'm focused on LinkedIn, but again, if you know where they are, that's where you focus on creating the content for them. Then you start tracking ideas, and I track ideas everywhere, but the one quick idea I'll give you is if you go to Quora or any sort of FAQ on any website or a competitor website, you can see the questions they're asking. So look at these questions here. How to build a poster brand, how to build an online presence. These are questions that I would answer in my content and my webinars and all the things that I'm doing, right? So it's a great way to make sure you're always tracking ideas. I have a ton of ideas in a Word doc that I keep track of. And then how do you create content? Well, it's very easy to create content. Just today, I shared a quote on LinkedIn. You can share a one-own story or your own story. You can share a learning or lesson. Share a day in the life if you're. It's more of an Instagram thing, but share behind the scenes of where you videotape and do your content. Sharing vulnerability about what you're struggling with. Interview somebody. I do weekly interviews twice a week on my LinkedIn live stream, and this is really easy content to create for yourself. Okay, so and vulnerability. Yeah, I'm glad that Nikki likes vulnerability. Vulnerability is the greatest connector you can ever use. So I highly recommend making it part of your strategy. You have to become better storytellers, right? I mean, storytelling is whether it's written or it's verbal or on video, become a better storyteller. There's a story of how I met this amazing, beautiful woman, and she had a different culture than my parents, who were very strict and conservative, and so we had struggles to try to get my parents to accept her, but pretty soon they got over it and they loved us, and we had a beautiful brown wedding, and now we have beautiful beige babies. And the lesson is, when love is there, families come around. Now that's a 20-second story, but it's something that's relatable, and a lot of you may know people who are in mixed marriages and you get it. But the whole point is to become a better storyteller to create more connection with your audience. And then again, I'm a big proponent of video. Video is the future now. 82% of all consumer traffic, 70% view brands in a more positive light. And beyond that, the picture paints 1,000 words. According to Force's research, 1 minute of video is worth 1.8 million words. And I recommend 1, 4, and 8 minute long videos for LinkedIn as well as for YouTube and Instagram and things like that. Okay. You can also start using video live streaming. So whether you're using Periscope on Twitter to be live accessible, it's got a strong ROR. You can also use it for Facebook Lives or LinkedIn video as well as LinkedIn Lives. I recently did a LinkedIn Live with Michelle Romanow from Dragon's Den, and people loved it. It was like really, people loved having access to her to ask questions, and that's why it was so powerful. Again, you can either be the one that's reacting to change, or you can actually create that change. So I'm going to try and encourage you to create that change that you need to be putting up there. The last piece of content is about LinkedIn. Ever since LinkedIn was bought out by Microsoft, they've made huge changes. We're now doing LinkedIn meetups. We're doing online videos. I even did an upside down video and turned it into a lesson. We're doing content, text-based content, and I've been using this for the last 2 years. It's been incredible. Look at the views I'm getting. 65,000, 79,000 views. That's incredible. Nothing's like that anywhere else. I don't get that kind of views anywhere. Like, it's not even close. In fact, if I share with you my lowest views to the most views to the average views, and you look at my follower to view ratio, LinkedIn is way higher. It's double or triple of Facebook. It's probably probably 5 times. And compared to Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, it's like 10,000% better than some of these places. So LinkedIn right now, the algorithm is very positive for people to engage. So I encourage you to get involved there. And then you may meet people like Miguel Forbes, and they send you messages because you built an authority for yourself, and they say, "Wow, let me talk to you. Let's talk to each other." So if you want to build thought leadership, personal branding, and build an authority in your field, track new ideas, create new content, better storytelling, invest in better storytelling, use lots of video, and leverage new LinkedIn. And again, if you want to get better at this, getting a coach, I have a business coach, and a coach provides accountability, support, focus, and ultimately the 10 extra results. And if you want to work with a coach, you want to work with me, you can certainly reach out to me or find another coach. But coaches are really, really important for success. And like I said, the personal brand model that I'm using, is something that I'm using to coach people on transitioning their businesses, ramping up their businesses, and leveraging it to help them build their thought leadership brands. And actually, I want to mention I'm launching a new course on personal branding, the discovery piece. So if you look at this, it's this part here, the most important part of the discovery piece. It's basically 25 videos and 30 plus exercises with about 20 to 30 hours of homework. And if people want to do it on their own, they can, or they can join me for a masterclass where I can take them over in a more of a mastermind accelerator to help design, deliver their brand, and build their authority. So just want to make sure people know about that. You can message me if you have information. Some final thoughts and next steps. Again, brand building is going to be key for you. Okay, your reputation online, particularly in the COVID world, is the game. I know this is old stuff from Gary Vaynerchuk, but it is the game now. COVID has accelerated the idea that the virtual world is where you need to dominate and build for yourself as a thought leader, as an authority in your field. And again, I'm going to stick around and answer your questions, but I want to make sure you really take the time to start creating content. And I'm gonna give you a little incentive here. I want you all to create your first post on LinkedIn. Talk about this conference. Talk about my session. Talk about how wonderful the conference and the session is. Trust me, Rachel and Mark and the team will love it. I will love it. Tag me on it, and I will comment. And when I comment on it, all 36,000 of my LinkedIn followers will see that I comment and like your post. Is that worth something to you? This is one of my clients. I told him to get on LinkedIn to a video. He just did it like a couple of days ago. Look at his results he's already getting. 1,600 views of his video content. That's fantastic. If you have a business and you want to do some great impact and build authority, create content and put it out there and make it. And again, you can create your content without even having your brand solidified. Put the content out there, just start and start honing on your brand behind the scenes. You don't have to do them both at the same time. Okay. And again, for this type of stuff, you got to want it. You got to want to apply the knowledge that I shared today. You want to apply and put it out there and start building that brand. And it takes time, but I've worked with some people to build an authority brand in less than 6 weeks. Others take 3 to 6 months. But you know what? It can be done, depending on how niche you are, depending on your topic, depending on who you're targeting. But it can be done. So I want to help you guys as much as possible because I've been there, and it took me a while to get there. If I knew what I did now, and if I had a coach back in the day, because I didn't, it would help me certainly create more focus around my business. But because I've been doing this for 15 years, and I've been building my social media and my thought leadership brand for the last 9 years since 2011. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at dypb.ca or rayallen.com, or you can email me, text me, You can also follow me on all the different platforms. I'm happy to help you guys out. But for those of you who are actually, oh, that's good. Navina's saying, well, I won't be your first post, but you'll tag me. Great, tag me. That's fine. Just say, hey, I saw the session. It was really fantastic. So and I know we didn't have much time. I want to make sure I got to the end and giving you a lot of insider input. But if you have any question about anything I've covered or things that I haven't covered, this is the time to ask questions because I'm making myself accessible and I want to really do what I can to help you build your thought leadership brand, and learn about your businesses, learn about what you're doing, and help you take it to that next level. So thanks so much for joining me, but I will stick around for questions if you guys want to stick around or you want to ask questions. So I see a few people here, so let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. Thank you. That was great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Glad to be here. Hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. But how frequently do you think we need to post? Okay, it depends on the platform and where you are. So if you're on Instagram or LinkedIn, it depends. What I would say, Novina, is that if you are not comfortable posting a lot, minimally start with once a week. Excuse me. Start with once a week. But if you're able to do daily, daily is hard. But if you can, up to daily is good. If not, 2-3 times a week is good. And one of the things I'll say too about posts on LinkedIn in particular is 80-20 rule. 80% of your time should be focused on your brand, and the other 20% it can be whatever you want. You want to talk about Canada, you want to talk about something your dad taught you, you want to talk about vulnerability. That's a perfect time for you to kind of share that information. It's totally fine to do that. Okay. Yeah, let's go review. I like the review. Back. The content one, right? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay, so it's this one. So, Sperry says, hi, Bobby. For businesses that had to pivot and do a new business during the pandemic and now old business trying to come back, is there anything you would recommend? I feel like two different people. That's a great question. I think ultimately, long term, you have to build a brand that's COVID proof, and so the virtual plus the live stuff is going to be it's going to have to be integrated. I'm a huge proponent of having just one brand for who you are, right? So make sure it's clear that my brand represents all these things, both virtual as well as live. But ultimately, you may have two different things, but it can live under one brand. It's very exhausting to try to manage several brands at once. Unless they're completely different. And I know some people, like, I'm a nanotechnologist, but I'm also a yoga enthusiast. So I understand that maybe you want to keep those things separate. But ultimately, you can actually build a brand around who you are. Like the stuff I do, and in terms of my helping people with personal branding and transition and building content on LinkedIn. That's one thing, but I also help people in other areas, like business development strategy. I also teach GMAT. So, it's part of my LinkedIn profile, but ultimately my main thing is helping people who feel lost or stuck or fulfilled with their business. I hope that answers your questions, Barry. If not, and ask again. Maria says, great content. Can you review that slide of content ideas? Quote. Yeah, so I mean, the basic idea of this slide is a quote is a very easy thing to put together for, like, you must be the changes that you wish to see in the world. Gandhi. What is the quote? And I mean, tell people the quote. Don't just tell them the what, though. Tell them the so what. What does this quote mean to you? Why is it so important? What is the value it brings to you as a professional? That's what a quote is. A well-known story. The story of the tortoise and the hare. The story of Marvel's Avengers. The story of Bugs Bunny versus Elmer Fudd. You can pick any story you want. And again, what is the lesson? What's the so what? Why does it matter? Your own story. I mean, the stories from your life. And the other day I was talking to my employee, or what about that time I got fired? That first time I got fired. How did it feel? How did I deal with it? That's vulnerability too, but it's also a lesson. The first time I got fired was in university. I was on the job for 6 days and I got fired. And what's the lesson? I can talk about what I went through. That's content. An idea learning lesson. There's so many learnings and lessons you have every day. If you're parents, man, just watch the kids and you can learn like 10 things per day of what to do and what not to do in life. And it's just fascinating just to watch them and learn. A day in the life is really behind the scenes. So I'll say, oh, here's where I do this, and here's where I do this, and here's my phone, here's my tripod, and I set things up. Vulnerability is really about talking about something that's really personal to you that you may feel is like kind of personal or something that you struggled with, but it's a huge connector. And then interviewing people is really easy. It's pretty easy. Carol asks, do you suggest editing videos before posting? What video editor can you recommend? Well, I use my phone, and I'm known as One Take Bobby, right? So, but what I'll do is I'll set it up, and even just my iPhone allows me to like just edit before and afterwards. So I get ready, set up, and then I go. and then I'm done. Okay, and then I go, and I can edit the front end and the back end of my video just by using the video on my phone. So I can do that. There are apps out there you can use. I mean, I use apps for subtitles. So for example, for subtitles on my phone, I have apps like Clips and Clipomatic. I also use a subtitle service called Subtitle to help create subtitles for my videos. I think that's really important. But honestly, it, progress, not perfection. If it's stopping from starting, I want you to just put the video out anyway. Like, don't even worry about editing videos like in a crazy way. It can be simple as long as like make sure there's good lighting. Make sure have the camera steady on a tripod or some sort. You just do that. But there's people who just do it from their hands and they just do the video and that's it. Again, as long as it's relevant content, especially on LinkedIn, if you want to actually really, I mean, the number one thing for your LinkedIn post is the first two lines that you say about it. So if you go to my LinkedIn profile, look at the last 2 or 3 posts. The first 2 lines are what I'm designing and strategizing to get people to read the rest of it. That's killer. It's key. Same with video. When you upload a video, you need to have content with it. So there's always text in my video too. So that the first 2 lines, absolutely key. And so, that's the most important thing. In terms of videos, yeah, I mean, the more polished, and if you're really good at polishing videos, go for it. But if you're not, what's really most important is to just focus on, subtitles are really helpful in terms of, readability and visibility. But ultimately, just make sure it's clear in the text what I'm posting about so that we'll want to watch the video. Make sense? Okay. And Maria says, yes, thank you. Maria says, thank you. Nikki says, learning lesson never stop. Amen to that. Like, as a networker, as a personal brand advocate, I've had to learn, even now during COVID, I've had to learn how to pivot, how to change. Like now as a speaker and trainer, I'm doing a lot of online content. So I'm changing how I'm doing stuff. One of the things I'm noticing is that even this video with me talking like this, I have to be as animated as I possibly can because it's different than when I'm on stage. When I'm on stage, there's far more energy, but here I also have to have the energy to keep up with what I'm doing. Carol says, awesome, that helps. We'll post something. Good. Glad to hear it. That's fantastic. There's still a bunch of people here, so if you have any other questions around content, I'm happy to share my thoughts. I mentioned again how to track new ideas. I mentioned about content types to create. I talked about becoming a better storyteller, using video. Let me talk briefly about this thing, the 1, 4, and 8, 10-minute video. Hopefully this helps you. So remember I recommended 1 minute, 4 minute, 8-minute videos. So the 1 minute is basically a quick tip, right? Here's a quick tip that I want to share with you today. The 4-minute video is more like, here are my top 3 to 5 things about networking, about branding, about thought leadership, about video content, that type of thing. And then the 8 to 10-minute long videos are usually going to be like a quick interview with somebody, or it's going to be, let me dive deep into specific content. Let me dive deep into, my networking strategies or into my LinkedIn strategies. And so that's what I mean 1, 4, and 8, 10-minute long videos. Okay. And we talked about doing live streams, which are really helpful as well. And then we talked about LinkedIn. LinkedIn has so much potential. The potential here is tremendous. There's a question: does LinkedIn limit your length of video? Yes, good question, Carol. So the limit. That's why my strategy was to make it just 10 minutes. So the longest LinkedIn video are 10 minutes. If it's a live stream, there's no there. I think the limit's like ridiculous. Like, so I've done live streams. The live stream I did with Michelle Romanow was about 45 minutes. But you can live stream for I think up to 12 hours. So but a live stream still in beta access. So I was one of the first big Canadians to get access to LinkedIn live stream, the beta version. So I'm able to use that for the most part, but ultimately it hasn't gone to everybody yet. Okay, so that it's coming there, but it's good. But 10 minutes is long. But I think I recommend if you're going to do videos, no more than 2 minutes long when you're just starting out. And if you have a really great interview or a great conversation, deep thing you want to share, then you can go longer, but make sure you have appropriate text to go with it so that, you are sharing, people will actually watch the whole video. Okay, any other questions around all the content? Again, I'm happy to go to any of the content that I shared. There's lots here, lots of content. So the content is so important. The data is strong. Cannot ignore the data. Okay, it looks like people are heading out. I will stick around if you have any more questions. There's only a few of you left, but I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions, at least for a little bit. But I know there's a session I want to get to, so I totally understand that. But I do appreciate your time, And if you have any questions or anything like that, please reach out to me anytime, and I will do my best to answer your questions. Reach out to me. All right? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time. Hope you enjoyed the session. Make sure they're doing videos. Make sure you tag me. Reach out to me if you want to learn more about my personal brand model or how to build authority with your brands. And create a post and tag me. All right? All right, awesome. All right, well, thanks so much, everyone. Take care. We'll see you soon.